y'all, welcome back to my channel. I did bring notes, or my journal I should say. I brought my journal to kind of just go off of, allow myself to read what I had in my journal for this video, just to express what it is that I felt like I wanted to express for this moment. Just me communicating some of my truths, some of the things I've learned here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I remember going through life as a kid and just soaking everything in like a sponge. Like everything that I seen that the adults were doing, everything that I seen other kids doing. I was a curious kid. I had a very vivid imagination. I was all around a good kid. Just growing up, a lot of the times we have to learn lessons, and you know, my beliefs are that we are all here for a reason, and the lessons that we are meant to learn are meant for us to experience and grow and apply what we learn here, so that, you know, moving on, we have that experience embedded in, you know, who we are. I didn't notice that things were kind of dark for myself until I was about 8 years old. I started really noticing a lot of things going on in my environment. As a kid, like, my mom would invite a lot of people into her home, and not random people. It would be like family members, close friends, like things like that, if they would need a place to stay. So I was always used to having people around me, and there always being a big commotion about something, because when you get a group of any people in a space, it can become chaotic with everybody's own egos and, you know, things of that nature. Let me sit up. Just growing up and experiencing emotional abuse, experiencing some forms of physical abuse, experiencing mental abuse from different people, and not just that, you know, as a kid I feel like I was over sexualized a lot, by family members and by just the outside world in general, just with a lot of the things that go on in this very sick world. I don't really know how else to say that, but yeah, just really allowing all of the outside things to consume me as a kid. Like I was just, like I said, a sponge, just soaking it in. There were adults in my life who didn't mind telling me how they felt about me, how they felt about my mom, and I felt like, you know, I took a lot on. Like, you know how kids sometimes take on a lot of their parents' issues and things of that nature. So I feel like as a kid I kind of took on a lot of other people's issues, and made them my issues. I feel like that's something that's in my chart. I really just want to be able to connect the placements in my chart to certain lessons that I've gotten in my life, and I can with one placement, but that'll be a different video. But so, you know, like I said, it was a sponge. I was just consuming and consuming and consuming, and it wasn't really changing who I was in my behavior. I am still very emotional, but as a little kid I was, you know, emotional, and I took everything to heart. As a kid I was a lover. Like, even now, like, I'm still a lover. Like, I love, but as a kid I just wanted everybody to be my friend. Like, loved everybody, experiencing life and coming in contact with you know, people, other kids that were going through things at home and projecting those things, and even myself going through things at home, and just me going to school or going somewhere and just looking for something or looking for validation from my parents. You know, trying to do extra well in school so that I can get validation at home and things of that nature. Trying to loosen up. I wouldn't say things didn't, like, the things that I went through as a kid didn't really start affecting me until high school. I felt like things progressively kept getting bad, and I felt like that was because in my environment, the people around me, you know, my family, some friendships were just very stagnant. In a way, I felt very stuck. By the time I had got to high school, I had been diagnosed with PCOS. I was on a treatment with metformin, which is a diabetic medication, and birth control, the pill form. And that also added to my heightening of emotions and just a lot of unstableness with my mental health, as well as me just being, you know, in that place or whatever before, and just having to grow through that being, again, one of my lessons here. It's just my mental health, making sure I'm aware of how I am and how I'm feeling, and just making sure that I'm okay. And at that point, where I was in high school, I wasn't okay. My mental health was non-existent. It wasn't anything that I was thinking about. It wasn't anything that anybody was really talking about at the time. This was, where did I go to high school? 2014. And this was a very shallow period of my life. I felt at this point a lot of my demons, as people like to say, a lot of my baggage, a lot of my darkness was very much clouding me. And who I am not the same person that I was in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. Like, I felt like each year I kept progressively changing into a darker version of myself. And not that that was bad, but in a way, I just allowed all of that negative that I went through in childhood to show on my physical person and in my attitude and the way that I treated people and the way that I expressed my love, which I didn't express it at all. I didn't like saying, you know, I love you, unless it was to like my nieces or nephews. I didn't like people telling me that they loved me. I didn't like people telling me how they felt about me, the way that I look, anything. Like, I just was not here for it. And that just came from years of just being mistreated by people who were supposed to love me, people who I felt were supposed to love me. Let me say that. Grown adults. I was bullied as a kid, but you know, I kind of grew out of that at a certain age. You know, being told to always fight all my life made me grow out of being a bullied kid to protecting the bullied and protecting myself, but pushing myself to be so angry, you know, and fight. But that was middle school. Moving into high school, I kind of moved away from all of the fighting because I was more so hurt, and a lot of my hurt was starting to show. A lot of my anger was starting to show, and so high school I started to become very depressed. And the metformin and the birth control did not help that at all. It actually very much worsened my conditions. And I never liked taking like pharmaceutical medicines ever, but the combination of the depression, and I would barely eat, like, at all. I just was not in the best mental space. Mentally or physically, I wasn't in the best space either. And I withdrew a lot. I stopped hanging around my friends around 12th grade. I didn't really do too much. I was skipping school a lot. I had an early schedule, 12th grade year, so it was easy for me to skip school a lot. So, you know, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, I was, you know, coasting by, and I was progressively picking up habits, eating habits, terrible sleeping habits. I had gained a lot of weight from, well, I had lost a lot of weight, and then I had gained a lot of weight. So my weight was very much up and down throughout high school. And I just, you know, I just felt like my life kept progressively getting worse. And 12th grade year, I had reached my highest weight, and I just felt like I didn't really know who I was. I really didn't know what I wanted for myself. I didn't want to physically be any longer. And I was really going through that mental battle with myself, and I had allowed my mom to well, I had opened up to my mom, and this was really the first time that she was really receptive to me and my feelings and what it was that I needed for my mental health, actually caring and just seeing my appearance and how I looked and in my eyes and just how I felt in general about myself all the time. She took my mental health, this is when she started to take my mental health seriously. And that was a very dark period. It continued well on to college, because 2 weeks after I graduated from high school, I had a mental break and I chopped all of my hair off. I just wanted to feel free from all of the things that I felt like were holding me back. All of the hurt, all of the pain from the people that I love so much, but I felt a lack of love from. I felt a lack of nurturing and a lack of self-esteem, a lack of confidence, a lack of self-love. Like, I had zero, and I just felt really dead inside. And so, you know, I graduated from high school, and right after that, I went straight to college, where I became even more depressed and I isolated myself so much. I didn't make any friends, except for one of my best friends. But yeah, we didn't really see each other a lot because we had classes and things like that, but we would make time when we had the time. But I didn't really make a lot of friends. But I really enjoyed being on campus and going to my classes. Just depression became unbearable in college, to the point where I started skipping classes again. And you know, my grades were still good. That's like the same way it was in high school. Like, I was skipping so much school, but my grades were still good and I was still passing. Like, as long as that was that, like, I was definitely skipping school. But yeah, I had started skipping class again. If I wasn't at home, I would be in the library. I would be somewhere in the halls and one of the buildings or something, just chilling. But the library was like my place. I would go in the library and just like zone out. Depression became worse in college. I felt like I was keeping who I really was a secret to myself. how I was really feeling, a secret to myself. I was in a place where I was trying to figure out what it was I was going to do for myself to free myself. I felt like my spirit was trying to be set free, and I would not allow myself to do that because I was so clouded by all of the things that I've been through, all of the hurt that I've been through, all of the people who've done this to me and said this to me, and you know, all the things that I felt and hated about myself, because you know, all that hurt then turned into self-hate for myself. I want to say something that really helped me just come to realize who I am within myself first, because that's the biggest part. It all starts within the inside, because I was hurting so much in the inside and I held on to so much within myself. I didn't talk to anybody about any of my problems. I, you know, would cry all the time, wouldn't allow anybody to console me. I felt so broken, and I felt like I needed something or somebody to come and save me, or like pull me or pick me up from that brokenness. But at a certain point, I want to say around 2018, something kind of switched for me. So 2018, child, my mom was, you know, still rocking with me with my mental health, and just, you know, doing anything possible to help me be happy with myself. And I feel like this was God showing me that self-love comes from within and not just on the outside of you. So at this point, I'm at my highest weight still. I had plateaued and like maintained this fucking weight, and for me, all of this weight was all of the baggage that I was holding onto. So I was going to get a surgery, but I went to the consultation and everything, took a whole trip, did the whole consultation and everything. I didn't end up getting the surgery, but I did end up doing like this B12 diet that the person also had. They wanted me to lose a certain amount of weight before I would be able to do whatever thing I was trying to do to myself. And so I went through this period, and in this period I kind of stripped myself of everything. I stopped doing my makeup. I stopped going anywhere. I wasn't going nowhere at all in the first place. I wasn't hanging out with my friends, nothing. Like, I was just loning. And I started just trying to push myself to do something. I wanted to see a change somewhere within myself and the outside of myself. And on YouTube, I had started finding like affirmation videos would pop up on my Explorer on YouTube, or my home on YouTube, and I would just click it, and they would be people just really speaking about just speaking highly of yourself. I learned that physical activity helped a lot with my depression. Like it helped me release a lot of things, a lot of emotions, especially. So changing my eating habits, I would work out of my room. So I was just trying to work towards what it was that I wanted for myself. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to love myself more. I learned that, you know, in order for me to be saved, I have to save myself, and not look towards anyone to help me or save me in the most intimate parts of myself. But this was a point where I didn't even trust myself at all. Like, I didn't know what self-trust was. I didn't know what self-love was. but I had to learn what that was. And then going on a journey of just trying to start with just losing weight, it pushed me into a whole different journey. God and the universe pushed me into a whole different journey, a journey that I was always meant to be on, but I had to see myself before I understood the journey. I discovered weed in 2019, y'all, and it definitely changed my life. It definitely allowed me to just be able to sit with myself, understand the things that I've been through, and a lot of crying. I'm always crying, a lot of crying. But I was able to just sit with myself and address a lot of things that I went through, and just reminding myself that the things that I've been through are not a reflection of who I am, and I don't have to allow myself to project those things, because I was really nasty, y'all. Like, my attitude and how I would treat people, how I would act towards the people that I would love. Like, I was a lover, but I was mean. Like, I was mean, very materialistic, and just, and I was always irritable, always upset, always mad about something. And those were just the things that I was holding on to, keeping me that way. And just, you know, having that transformation, and shedding a lot of that baggage allowed me to see myself in a different light. And once I started to see the beauty in who I am, it just changed my whole outlook on a lot of things. I started to tell myself how beautiful I was. I started to accept compliments more. It just really changed my perspective on me. You know, and at that point, I was still very much in my baggage, but I had shed so much of that childhood baggage that all that childhood just dropped right off of me. Okay, I had addressed a lot of issues that I had. 2019, yes, 2019, I had addressed a lot of issues that I had with my dad in just that relationship, and I started to become more aware of my behaviors and the way that I affect people by the things that I do, by the things that I say. So that going through that period of just trying to work towards what it was that I wanted for myself, just as far as my appearance and the way that I carried myself, allowed me to transform in a different way internally. Like, I would have chest pains when I would feel emotion, but I feel like it was that kept me in that cycle of hurt, that feeling in my chest. Just knowing that, you know, someone did this and this is the reason for the pain. Like I was okay with just being in that space for so long that when I became suffocated or so stuck in that space, just learning to see myself first is what sparked the transition for me into seeing how I affected everyone else around me, or just being able to understand someone else or see someone else for who they truly are. So I did write some notes. Well, they're not really notes. So in the moment of me growing through the things that I'm growing through, I always just write down what I feel like the lesson is for me, what lesson God presents to me within a situation. And that is also something I'm really grateful for. God has given me the ability to see myself within any situation, and just, you know, stepping out of my own shoes or just out of my own way and seeing things for what they truly are. Looking at my environment, my nurturing, you know, the people, the places, and the things that have nurtured me, and the things that I've absorbed. I no longer want it to be a reflection of the things that I have grown through. I no longer want it to be a reflection of the things that I went through as a kid. I no longer want it to be a reflection of things that I endured going through high school and the thoughts that I've had. I no longer wanted to reflect those things. I no longer wanted those things to be projected into my reality. I just started to check myself and see myself, but at a certain point I was still very lost and still searching for who I truly was. But I started to become aware of the people who were nurturing me, the people who have impacted me, and I knew that I did not want to be a broken adult, or an adult who did not know themselves, or an adult who was hurting so they projected hurt onto others. I started to take an accountability what it was that I was doing, correcting myself, or just holding myself accountable anytime I may be opposing someone, so that I'm not projecting the things that I feel onto someone else, or I'm not just intentionally hurting someone because of how I feel about something, or just in general, because like I said, I'm a lover, not a fighter unless I have to. But yeah, just like really learning to open my heart space and learning to forgive other people. And just even now I have learned to forgive myself for a lot of the things I've been through even now. So something that I'm learning is forgiveness, and I've learned to forgive others. But I feel like if you learn to forgive those who have hurt you, then you'll be able to, you know, get past the things and the hurt that and the wrongdoings that they've done to you. You should be able to get past the things that you feel like you've allowed. Just discovering that I wanted to be better for myself made me want to be better to others, and just a better example for my nieces and my nephews. Just come to a point where I just, you know, learned that hate took a lot of energy out of me. It blocked me from a lot of things. I've also come to learn that in this world we live in, you're going to be a bitch to somebody. You're going to be the villain in someone's story. Addressing the things that I've went through allowed me to step outside of myself and see myself, love myself, and also be able to see different perspectives from other people, even in situations that involve myself. And that was just the first step to me coming into myself and just self-actualizing, self-realizing the things that I do does affect other people. And just at the point that I am now, I've learned about, you know, my energy and just protecting my peace and all those things of that nature. But just, you know, the first step to me becoming self-actualized, or just realizing myself, was at a very dark period, and it took for me to shed weight, to physically shed weight, to spiritually shed weight, to release a lot of the things that I was holding on to, and allow me to meet my spiritual self. Around 2019, I kind of came more into my spiritual self. I started shying away from the makeup videos and just learning about myself and spending time with myself. I had completely stopped watching TV. I had just kind of really stripped myself of anything. Just going through that period with myself, it really allowed me to meet myself in the best ways possible, in the worst ways possible, and just come to just believe and be confident and just love myself all around. Like, honestly and truly, like, the first step is self-love. Like, without self-love, I wouldn't have been able to find God. And I'm telling y'all the truth, the highest price of my soul I wouldn't have been able to find, because I felt so weighed down by a lot of stuff that I was going through within my mind, a lot of stuff that I was going through with my family, a lot of stuff that happened in the past, and just carrying all that with me and not knowing how to release those things, you know, having to teach myself how to release those things, and just trying to teach myself how to love myself, how to reparent myself, how to nurture and care for myself. That all played a vital role in me meeting love and meeting myself, and just now I'm still learning how to just be one with my darkness and stay balanced. And yeah, I don't know, I kind of just wanted to come and just share a piece of the things that I've learned, how it all started, and just try to shed some light on becoming self-realized. It starts with yourself. It starts with you. It starts with what you consume. It starts with how you treat yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you treat others, how you talk to others, how you show up for yourself, how you discipline yourself. Like, even now I'm working on redisciplining myself to a point, because I feel like I'm at a point where I'm have accumulated different traumas, just being an adult now, and having relationships and things of that nature. I feel like I have some more shedding to do. I feel like the highest is waiting for me to communicate and to transform, and so that's what I'm trying to do here in this moment, and to share and learning all the things that come with loving yourself. I'm still very much learning, as y'all can tell by the videos, but I just really wanted to come and communicate with you all, just about my experiences thus far here on this planet Earth. But yeah, I just wanted to come share that. It's not an easy journey to self-love, but once you do reach love, it is beautiful. Once you learn to love yourself, you see God, you see the beauty that is the experience here, and to grow through the things that are being given to you. Is cliche as saying, but God does not give anybody anything that they cannot handle. And I feel like we are all put here for a reason, a purpose, seasons, and you know, learning to love ourselves is one of those things, especially, you know, for a lot of us who grow up in hostile environment, not speaking of just the home, but just, you know, the state of the world in general. Just learning to love yourself in this chaotic world, self-love and love for others, because once you learn to love yourself, it'll be easy to really love someone else, and to not allow the things that you've been through to taint that love that you have for yourself or for others. And I am so grateful, because I have come to that place. I've just learned to not allow the way that someone else feels or the actions others present to change the way that I love, that I love myself, that I see myself. But yeah, like I said, it starts with self and it ends with self. You know, you come into this world, you've been nurtured, you've experienced, you've had to grow through things. Not go through things, grow through things. Either God will push you in a direction to betterment, or you will allow all of the things that you have experienced to keep you dead. And like I said, I felt dead inside, but now I feel very much alive. God lives through me, and I'm very grateful for self-love. So I guess this is a video about self-realization with self-love, with learning self-love and still learning self-love, because I feel like you never truly stop learning to love yourself. It just gets better. I'm going to be revealing more of myself, and just the things that I've learned, the things that God has shown to me, the things that the people in my life have shown to me through them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I hope that you all understood clearly what I was saying. So thank you for watching.